And now, ladies and gentlemen, young and elder, from Hollywood to the entire world, here is your host of Aim to Purpose, the radio show, Louise Hicks, along with her co-host, yours truly, Kenan Wesley Mason.
Monday here in sunny Southern California. Welcome to Aim to Purpose, the radio show, and I'm your host, Louise Hicks.
And I am your co-host, Kenan Mason, and I want to say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone listening and watching Aim to Purpose, the radio show, as we are here to bring you the best in internet radio.
Yes, we are. We have a great show for you today, too. Now, we started the month off with fitness. We had Miss Batista Grimaud, and we're going to end this month on a fitness note. We have Dr. Fitness USA, and you will get to talk to him. If you want to call in, you can call in and talk to him a little bit later in the show when we introduce Dr. Fitness. We're talking about strength building with Dr. Fitness USA today.
Yes. Stephen Hersey, a.k.a. Dr. Fitness USA, is an international body designer, owner, and founder of the International Institute of Body Design. #1 best-selling author, holds the prestigious title Professor de Culture Physique, Weeder, and is certified by the IFBB International Federation of Bodybuilding and Health Ambassador of the Olympia Awards of the 7 Arts of the World. Dr. Fitness USA is on the board of directors of Indo Positive International. He's the leading authority in bringing his revolutionary strength training systems to the addiction and recovery community as a new tool for mood behavior stabilization and stress management. He's also a #1 best-selling author and a recognized professional empowerment speaker as a pioneer for his successful work with pain management and postural realignment, which affects mood, behavior, and productivity, and is running the most reliable body sculpting program globally. He regularly appears as a celebrity guest speaker on radio shows, including syndicated show Al Cole, People of Distinction, LJ Jackson, Amazing Women of Power, CNN show Tony O'Donnell at KCAA Broadcast, Svetlana Kim, To the Stars Through Adversity, and The Dr. Kevin Show. Dr. Fitness USA has worked with all types of people, from celebrities such as Linda Gray, Sally Field, Simon Cranes, Billy West, as well as with MDs, chiropractors, alternative health professionals, as well as students. Young and older people of all walks of life travel worldwide to seek his unique services. Let's have a great Aim to Purpose welcome for Dr. Fitness USA, Stephen Hersey.
Hello, Dr. Fitness USA, and welcome. Thank you for coming on board with us. And now we can add Aim to Purpose, the radio show, to this illustrious list here. And thank you so much, and welcome. And we're just going to jump right in here because we got a lot to talk about within the next 35, 40 minutes, and we're going to get in as much as we can. So what, I know you are an international body designer, and we want to know, first of all, what does that mean, body designer? What is that? Because a lot of people may not know what that is.
Well, my unique ability is to be able to read the musical score to the body that you have at the moment and where you could be should you be able to hit your right musical score. It's kind of like a symphony. When you see a symphony and then you see a conductor, the conductor will, for the regular person, they can't hear the missed notes, but the conductor does.
Right.
Usually they're very strict about if somebody misses the note. Why? Because it has a reaction to everything that they're about. And so when people work out, they do things that are misplaced or out of sequence or incorrect, where their mind or their body can even process the exercise. And so it causes all sorts of problems.
Such as?
Well, okay, so I like to bite real subjects, so to speak. So yesterday I met somebody that actually I knew for a while, and they became an airline stewardess, and they've been flying around the world and the country. And somewhere in the meantime, if I may say, they picked up a boyfriend who happened to be a personal trainer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So upon my eyes gazing at this wonderful person, how could she be an airline stewardess? Her body was in a very unhealthy condition. She looked like she was weighing 153 pounds. I don't know factually. You see, she has a lifestyle that she doesn't have a business plan that when she comes back to her home base that she can follow this program that would nourish her body.
Mm-hmm.
So of course, the boyfriend looked really great, so to speak, and so the conversation is like this. Well, they go in the gym and they discuss strategy, how they're going to work her body.
Uh-huh.
So the first exercise they do is what they call a TRX system, where she hangs from a couple of straps and she does this. Well, what happens is when you send signals to your body that destroy the very foundation it's built on, it's very hard to exercise again because the body is self-defeated. It's an exercise that's physically impossible for her to benefit from. So the trainer, although he has a great idea, isn't really looking at really what the problem is. Her problem is that because of her metabolism and her slow pace of lifestyle, she's impacting her body with too much weight in her lower legs.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of understanding that she needs a strength training program that substitutes a fat cell for a muscular cell underneath the skin so it creates shape and sustainable, he's doing aerobic type of activity.
Mm.
That's not an exercise that she can ever be an expert at. I can tell you that right away. One is because her body's off balance.
Mm-hmm.
You have to give the analogy would be you go into the store and you put somebody on a pair of shoes that pinch their feet or they slip and slide, but it's a pair of shoes.
Right.
So it has to be the right fit for that body type.
That's right.
Yeah, you have to listen. I tell people, why don't you, if you have a personal trainer, why don't you sit down after the workout while you're at home, write down everything you did, and just sit there and meditate whether that exercise empowered you or felt good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's important.
You'll find that they'll say, that didn't really feel good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so they went into the gym in the wrong mindset.
They went in with the wrong mindset,
Yeah,
and then the person didn't empower them to the right fit for their particular body. So you're saying there is the importance of strength building. You have to have certain key elements that you need to go through. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. So that would be, we would call that is a business plan.
Mm-hmm.
So when I do consultations, it's not that personal trainers aren't wonderful or they're not needed. It is a business, but in the fitness world, when you say fitness, that it depends where the person's doing. If they're doing yoga, if they're doing Pilates, or they're doing personal training, they think that's it. Okay?
Yeah.
They don't know that for each type of tool that you use has a different outcome.
Right.
And a different benefit. So if you're doing yoga, which uses different muscle fibers, it'd be extremely important to include strength training in your program.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But yesterday I saw a yoga person, okay, and I'm not laughing at them, I'm just saying that they're a wonderful person.
Right.
But when they came to see me, I could see that their nervous system is gone. They're not calm at all. They've lost too much physical body weight, that the stress of life is actually impeding their physical posture.
Right.
Mm.
And yet yesterday, and she would not be a person that would join a real gym. And yesterday I ran into her and she's in a real gym. And I follow her around. Well, she's doing, if people don't know, it's a one-arm dumbbell row. Okay? It's for the back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She's doing 10 pounds. Well, she might as well stay home. She doesn't know what she's doing, but you can't. But what happens is you can't express anything. She just brain dead.
So we're conditioned with sometimes, I guess, depending on the trainer you have or the expert, the body designer, we are conditioned, but we may not be conditioned the right way in order to get the benefits that our body chemistry needs in order to do what we want it to do. And keeping everything in balance. So you mentioned the nervous system here and the stress reduction. So that's important in strength building. You were saying about the nervous system. This person was nervous.
Right.
And
Okay. So here, I can. It was interesting when you were talking to the pastor.
Right.
Okay. So a light bulb went up in my head that I could explain it.
Good.
That would enlighten. So. In the body design formula system, we increase people's strength 20 to 50% in 20 minutes. That controls your brain function.
Mm-hmm.
So the pastor is talking about a program that's very powerful that will include a lot of people and have great benefit.
Right.
But his first expression of speech is, well, we're going to change the nutrition or get them healthier through nutrition. He's got it backwards.
Okay.
So I'm going to skip around a bit.
Yeah,
Like
good. Enlighten us.
Yeah.
Okay, so a chiropractor, when you go see a chiropractor, which is kind of like a myth, but they're going to tell you that you have certain vertebrae out of place, it's causing obstruction, and they're going to recorrect your nervous system so that it holds your body or vertebrae in the right anatomical position.
Mm-hmm.
It's impossible. You can go to a chiropractor because it's possible to relieve stress, but once you leave his office, he needs to point you to go do strength training so that it strengthens the muscles or develops muscles to hold your posture in place.
Right.
So, when you go to a chiropractor and we have what we call forward head positioning. Okay?
Yeah, what does that mean?
You know, that's like when you're on a computer all day long or carrying heavy things, you form this position, or you have weak back muscles.
Right.
And it kind of forms a skeleton frame like this.
Right.
Okay, now, when you go to a chiropractor, he's going to keep on adjusting you, telling you that he's going to fix that. He's not going to fix that. The only way that you can fix, so here's the reverse thinking. When you come to the body design formula, we take your shoulders and we rotate it backwards. You see, the shoulders are rolled forward, but we can rotate the shoulders backwards by creating opposing muscles in strategic positions. And when you roll the shoulders back, the neck will straighten out back into its correct position.
Mm-hmm.
And then they can go to a chiropractor to have periodical checks.
So the body, as a body designer, I noticed on the bio you worked with chiropractors, doctors.
I have students that are chiropractors.
And so you got to work together in order to get the proper balance that our body needs.
Right. When you go to a trainer, some trainers can get you stronger, but they strengthen you in the wrong position, offset the balance of the body. So if we go back to the pastor, he's talking about nutrition and diet. But at the same time, he's saying that these children have emotional disorders.
Right.
Well, doesn't food modify your mood behavior?
Mm.
Yes.
When you snatch food away from a child that he uses as a crutch, that could be a problem. Now, what happens if you could take that child and strengthen his physical body 20 to 30% in 20 minutes and then introduce the discipline of eating better?
Mm-hmm.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah, because today they do make, for very young children, they do make professional strength training equipment that's all colorful and joyous and would fit their body. but you're telling children a lot of intellectual data without them experiencing how to connect their mind to their body, to strengthen their nervous system so they can hold their emotions better under stress.
Right.
And then and introduce a fun activity. And once they take hold of that with a proper program, you can actually work on their posture. Because when people are depressed, usually they'll bend their head forward.
Right.
But if you pull their chin up, they can't be depressed. So there's a different way of incorporating a strength training program that would highlight the benefits of eating better. But talking to children about eating better first, when they want to go out and play and have fun with themselves, and where they can be in an environment where they don't have to compete with other children, like in teams and things like that, you get a better type of environment and a better type of mentality, and you have a better chance of a success rate.
It makes sense because it's kind of like a mind-body connection.
Absolutely.
And that makes a lot of sense to me, because if your mind is not in sync with your body, or your body in sync with your mind, how can you move forward and be live in bliss, joy, happiness, because you're all out of whack? And like you said, you go to I've been to a chiropractor, and you're right, they do start telling you about your lining, your vertebrae, and all of this stuff, and they don't talk about the design and your posture. Well, I've had a few, I guess, that did talk about the posture a little bit.
Well, the thing is, I get people that come into I get people to come into me as the last resort. That means that they have physical pain, and everything they tried hasn't worked. So I won't mention who it is, because we just did a video on a woman that's quite well known, and she goes on camera. We're soon going to post it. That she was shocked that after doing my program, that she had no pain in her wrist. She mentioned that she had a severe pain in her wrist where her husband would have to carry her purse. So she went to the doctor, and there was a vein popping out about 4 inches. She's been to several doctors, and the doctor said that it's going to continue traveling up her arm and getting worse, and that the only chance that she had was to have an operation. And here I have her on camera that she says that she just did my program like a couple of times, and she has no pain.
That's amazing.
Right.
I have another person that's actually a medical doctor that says that she's been advised by 3 surgeons to have immediate surgery on a torn muscle in her shoulder. And she goes on camera and says that she's been doing my program and she never did the operation and she feels perfect. And she demonstrates that she does all the movements and she looks fabulous. So how do you explain that?
Right. Most doctors can't explain it.
They can't, right?
Right.
Because they're not trained in how the body truly functions from a universal divine order position. We all fundamentally function in a certain way, and the body is able to heal itself when you give it strength training. You strengthen the nervous system. It is in our best interest to, they always tell you to keep your back straight when you stand up. Hold your chin up, because energy flows better, which energy is what you need to make the muscle fibers move, make the nervous system move. This is what gives you your strength. And it creates the, what is this right here? Forward head
positioning.
Right.
It offsets the damage effect of forward head positioning.
Right. And chiropractors aren't wrong in their approach, but there's other things that go along with it. You have to strengthen your nervous system. So you won't have to go to the chiropractor so often, because your muscles will be strong enough to keep your skeletal structure intact.
And that's true. And something else you said, Dr. Fitness, that's really ties into all the technology and everything we had about the kids, and that is that mind-body balance, because we know now kids sit so much, that sedentary, is that what you call it, sedentary position, and they sit, they're playing games all day, they're like this on the phones, and it's just no end to how children don't even get exercise. I think they've taken physical education out of the schools now, so
Absolutely.
it's sad, and these kids are their muscles are probably dying. And so are adults, because many adults now, we don't do anything either but sit, watch TV, and the ones who work, I want this to segue into this ergonomics. Is that what you call it?
Ergonomics, yes. You have to have the right
for
ergonomics.
people that work like I did on computers for years, and you end up, they say you get carpal tunnel and all kind of things. So address what ergonomics is and how we can better ourselves with that, with your program.
Well, ergonomics means that you have, first of all, you need to know what exercise you want to do in your program. So when you approach that exercise, you might be short. So you won't fit in the machine properly. So you'd have to have a way of adjusting the machine, that's the secret sauce, so that when you go in the machine, you would be fitting very snugly and comfortably and be at the right angle to have fun in the exercise. But most people, when they go into a physical machine, especially when they're in their 40s or 50s, go into a machine and they're totally uncomfortable. So they do a couple of sets or exercise and then they run away. That's how gyms make their money. They make you most of the time they make you very uncomfortable so that you don't hang around too long.
Right.
Now, so there's a whole system happening today that's very positive. The younger generation, because and I could name a gym, excuse me, in the new LA fitness gyms, they do have better equipment. Okay. So what that means is when I go in, because I write reports, or I'm like the gym detective that writes reports about certain gyms and what goes on in them. And we have one on YouTube. It's kind of interesting. But anyways, the thing is that in these new gyms, they do have better equipment. And so what you're doing is you're seeing an influx of men and women in their early teens to the 20s up to under 30 flocking to the gym. Right. And they're using strength training to have fun and to build their bodies. They're better educated and to understand that if they want to have that curve in their body like they see on dancers or in those beautiful dresses or jeans that they see in the advertising magazines, they can get that by being in a gym. Okay? Now, the girl between 13 and 16 years old, it's not unusual because of better equipment. They go in, they use a leg machine, and they exercise with 200 pounds and up. Like it's a piece of cake. They got better flexibility, better mobility. So when I say you have to strengthen your body, that's not unusual, but it doesn't happen in personal training gyms, and it doesn't happen in CrossFit in a sense. And it doesn't happen in exercise in the park. The reason is because personal gyms are usually built on a short budget. And so what they do is they select older pieces of equipment that are not up to date that can accommodate your body properly. So when you go in those gyms, you're working out, but it's going to be very tedious. And if you didn't have a trainer, you might not be coming back. And the other thing is that when women do exercise in the parks, let's say you're 20 pounds overweight, they have an idea, wow, we're working out. No, you're destroying your body. If you're 25, 30, 40 pounds overweight and your postural alignment is off because you haven't seen a chiropractor or done anything about it, and you're running up a hill or jumping up and down and things like that, just imagine what your body inside feels like. Now, when you go to a proper gym, a brand name gym, you can be on a piece of equipment that can support the mass of your body, like under your butt, and can support your spine so that you could actually feel what you're doing and exercise your legs with weight. You cannot do that with exercise in the park. So when people, especially women, when they go into exercise, they're not thinking really logically. They're thinking they're being physically fit. What you want is a program that strengthens your nervous system, that always working on your posture, and that it's sustainable. So when you exercise in the park, how many years you think you're going to be able to run up and down?
Right.
Before you give up.
That's what happens a
Now,
lot of times.
now I want to ask
too.
you something. So when I interview women and they take that route, they go up inside their head intellectually and they don't hear. So my next book is why women don't listen and why they don't hear. There's a reversal, is that the women have become very strong and passive aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Passive aggressive.
Oh, they're very passive aggressive. So what would that look, and the men have become very weak.
And I want to talk a little bit more about the men being weak and the women becoming stronger. But first, I want to read a quote here. Now, as I said, Batista Grimaud has been on our show before, and this is her book. And by the way, this is a husband-wife team, and she's been on the show. This is her book. I wanted to read a quote from Dr. Fitness on here, and we're going to talk more about what you just said here. And this quote says, Dr. Fitness USA always says that women who stay in their intellectual mind continuously 24 hours a day will eventually weaken their immune system, which can lead to diseases setting in the body. And I found that so interesting. And when you talk about the women getting stronger and men getting weaker, how does that tie into us as women? Because you just you just said that
Sure.
we could lift 200 pounds. I can lift 200 pounds, and
No,
I know
you could lift 425 pounds
Wow.
in 20 minutes.
in 20 minutes I could lift 4, and that to me was intriguing when I heard you say the 200 pounds.
That's for a younger person.
Right.
But when we have, no, for you're talking 425.
Even in emergency situations where a mother would have to rescue her
go.
child, there's a great force that we can utilize all of its energy to lift up that car or lift up that log to save our children, because there's a connect that we don't want to be broken. And so you can muster up that kind of a strength. We have over 600 muscles in the body, and we have a nervous system that grows like a tree. If you look at a tree, you see how it branches out
Yeah, all
into
the different branches.
the nervous system is the same way, and you have all 600 plus muscles that rarely any of them get utilized throughout our lifetime. Those are those muscles that can lift those 400 pounds.
Absolutely.
With strength training, you can do it at a constant, where it doesn't have to be. It can be at an what we call at an unconscious competence level, where you do it automatically, and it's nothing to you after you do it continuously. It becomes your habit.
And that that is amazing, because a lot of us didn't know that, and we didn't know that it's certain ways you could train the body or build up the strength of the body. And you talk about the hormonal, particularly when it comes to men
that's what I
and
want to
women.
talk about.
And I want to talk about that. But before
Okay.
we get to that, let's take a break, and we're going to come back, and I want to talk about the hormonal changes in the left brain, right brain, male versus
Okay.
female a
Yes.
little bit. I want to touch on that. And so let's go ahead and take a break, and we're going to come back and talk about that.
Yes, it's Aim to Purpose, the radio show. Dr. USA, Dr. Fitness USA, Stephen Hersey is our guest. He's great, and we will be right back. Stay there.
Okay, we are back, and we have such an interesting conversation here, and Dr. Fitness USA is giving us so much information about how we can do strength building, and he is an international body designer, an empowerment speaker, and author, and we'll get into his books and share that with you a little bit later in the show. But in that quote I read from Batista's book about the women, how we stay in that intellectual mode continuously, and we know we have these hormonal issues with, and what you're telling us, we can change all that without being on medication and so forth.
Absolutely. So We all have male and female energy in us. But women, and I say that beautifully because we love women.
And we love men.
Yeah.
And most people don't know that we have both male and female energies within us.
But for women, they have a large connective tissue between left and right side of the brain. Some men have that also. But it allows them to think and feel simultaneously. So as time goes on, because of the stresses and responsibility in life, marriage, divorce, children, putting children through school, death, whatever it is, women will tend to go up into their intellectual mind and kill their feeling side. And your body is all run by your feelings. Mm-hmm. So the weaker they get in their body, the more they stay in their intellectual mind, because that's where they're safe. The more they stay in their intellectual mind 24 hours a day, the more they weaken their immune system. Mm-hmm. So for women, what happens is they can't connect so in the body design formula system, I create the bridge so women get out of their intellectual mind and they get back into the center of their body, or their chakras, so to speak, and they start to exercise in a certain way that actually quiets their mind. Mm-hmm. It's not like personal training. Personal training is, come on, let's do more.
Right.
Hurry up. All those type of things.
Uh-huh.
So it's a very unique approach into getting women out of their intellectual mind and back into their body. So when a woman is facing me, she might be very successful, or she says, I'm very strong. Yes, you're intellectually strong, mm-hmm. but your body is weak. So if you start off at 100%, and now your body is down to 30%, then your body would be considered weak. So that means you're subject to your emotions. So you would have a person that overreacts to situations because they can't contain appropriate behavior before thinking first. Or you have a woman, like I said, has become passive aggressive, where she's just like those guys that people can't stand.
Your hormones are all off balance, huh?
Watch, I'll demonstrate. I've had all these issues in my life. I go to this doctor, I go to that doctor, and now you're telling me that there's a new technique, or there's something that could actually move me forward.
Right.
I'd love to know more. Hello, miss? I'm calling you back. Oh, I'm sorry, can I call you later? Can I call you later? Gee, I have no time. I don't want to take up your time. Mm-hmm. 3 days later. Oh, you're calling me back? How interesting. Didn't I call you back? You're talking, I'm sorry to say, you're talking
Bouncing.
to a person that's a nutcase.
Right.
But the one that's crazy like that is the one in control. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. So even for personal trainers, you want to look for the person that wants to be teachable. Mm-hmm. So that's what I mean by passive aggressive. And when the woman, and also she'll answer the phone and say, there's 3 or 4 things that send women to the psychiatric codes. Hurrying up, pleasing others, no time, and giving too much.
That's
before
true.
Receiving.
Yes, we as women can do that.
Yeah.
We overgive because we are nurturers. We're
putting
known as
themselves
nurturers.
last instead of putting themselves
and
first.
that can weaken us. And your body design system can help us to get ourselves back into balance. Anybody, men too, I'm saying. Yes. But right now we're talking about the women, and it's you said something about how the men and male and female, I guess, and we are differently So you
Well,
have to use a different technique? I know we have some same, but is there a
women
different
are
technique?
different because as they go along in life, their hormones change and they produce more progesterone, so they can't be little girls anymore.
Right.
Only in their conversation. So the male energy says what she thinks and wants, and the other energy says how she feels and she doesn't want. But the men are producing less testosterone. So unless they've kept their body up through physical activity, they've now lost half their body.
Is that what you mean by men getting weaker and women getting stronger?
Yeah, when you look at men in their 40s or 50s, they look like girls. They lost all their chest muscles, and they lost their sexual powers.
Drive.
Yeah, all that stuff. And when I interview men, they're like used to bees.
In their 40s?
Well, you have they kind of all fit together. You know, we have positive people, but I had somebody that was referred to me, and they did physiotherapy for 4 months.
Uh-huh.
Now I got to tell you, when the guy comes in, you could see that. I don't know when the last time he saw a gym or exercise program, but from the pictures he posted on Facebook, he looked pretty handsome. But all of a sudden, the person shows up, and you're seeing a relic. The car that hasn't been painted, it's been left out in the rust. And he looks at me, and he's telling me that he went to physiotherapy for 4 months, but whatever issue he's talking about hasn't worked for him.
Right.
Now, when I explain things to him, and this goes for men and women, they go back doing the same thing that they came for expert advice on.
And you look fit. I'm looking at you, and you've designed. You must be using this body design.
Well, I'm
formula.
68 years old, and
We gotta get a round of applause for
I've
that.
been doing it a long time. so I just want to say that the system is very endearing for women, and it's very kind to men. And one of the reasons that men can't go forward is when I say they get weaker is because women are into more creative risk. Because they can go back and forth between their thinking and their feeling and be safe. When they go with, when men have a feminine side, so when the blackboard is too empty, they're scared to take the risk. The little boy is scared to take the risk.
Wow. That's amazing.
And so what happens is that the women are giving too much. They're doing all the work. So in my case, Batista doesn't open up a car door. She doesn't throw out the garbage.
Good for Batista.
She doesn't do the clothes shopping. She doesn't do the grocery shopping. And when she wants to get my attention, she says how she feels and what she doesn't want. So when I lay a trip on her like most men do on women, remember, women have estrogen, so they're going to get flustered if they stay in a conversation fighting with a testosterone man past 7 minutes. So she stops me dead by saying, I'm allowed not to want. Or she says, I know how you could make it up to me even though I didn't do anything wrong.
And you talk, that's good you brought that out because you talk about enhancing relationships. And
Absolutely.
That is important. Like you and Batista, husband-wife team, you're enhancing that relationship. Is that part of the body design system as well?
I'm glad you brought that up. I try to get, especially in relationships, men to understand that it's very important for women to process their emotions. So when Batista is working 4 or 5 days in a row, 12, 15 hours a day, she's getting pretty old. The way she talks to me is different. The way she feels about herself is different. When she goes to the gym and does her program, she comes back 15 years younger. Because the image, first of all, it nourishes her nervous system.
That nervous system, that brain.
And second of all, she doesn't get a sense that she's losing the feminine attributes that make her happy when she gets into a dress and feels feminine.
Feels feminine, yes.
So what happens that I see in the gym is the women come in with their boyfriends. Okay? Now, when I go into the gym, and sometimes Tista goes before me, and I says, "Where are you going?" She says, "I'm going to work out." I says, "Wait for me." Okay? But what happens is you'll see that the two people, if the guy looks like a lug nut, so to speak, okay, the girl starts to look like that also.
Uh-huh.
They don't understand that they both need a separate program. They both have a different rhythm.
Right.
And in the body design program, there's lots of stretching. They're hidden. But we're working on a different aspect of how they will turn out over a period of time.
Yeah. And those negative emotions, too, that because a lot of women, we're talking about women, they do want to have the look of their femininity. They want to see the curves again. They want to be able to wear that dress to go out that they wanted to wear for the last 5 to 10 years. But all that negative emotion, it has mass, so it holds weight. It brings you down. It makes that it drags you down. And when you train or when you do physical activity, it does make you feel better.
That strength building and
It
that
releases the
nervous and all
endorphins in
of
the
that.
brain, and it makes you feel better. It
I got
strengthens
great
your
support
nervous
here.
system.
This is really great. So interestingly enough, I'm going to address women who don't strength train. Strength training is your anti-aging tool. But women get on a scale, and if they gain a few pounds or they don't get into the dress that they fit into, they think they have to lose the weight.
Yes.
Okay? What you want to do is substitute a fat cell for a muscular cell, and the only tool that's going to do it is to, I won't say the body design formula program, the secret sauce, which is a little hint, but that might be the direction that you might want to consider going in.
Uh-huh.
But you do want to build muscle. I mean, again, we
That's
have
important.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at my before and after pictures, we definitely want to build muscle.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what you lose your muscle. Isn't that what creates osteoporosis?
Well, when you don't strength train, then the bones can get weak, and when you lift weights, they can strengthen your bones.
Yeah.
And you need that
because everything is attached.
But the muscles is the misinterpretation of what women don't realize that you have to actually build muscle. So when we say we increase the strength in the body, it comes from your legs. It sends endorphins to your upper body. It powers your body. So when you get to exercises that you are taught to do, you can take the correct weight right away.
Yeah.
And do it the proper way, like you said, design a business plan.
So we just have a woman that's close to 60, I believe. I won't say who she is because we're going to soon release a press release. But she's very, very well known and she's very feminine. She's on top of the fashion world.
Wow.
So she started my program, and to make a long story short, I went through it's kind of like, I asked her, well, did you ever exercise on this machine? She said, no. She said, I did this push machine. And I said, well, that sounds really interesting, but this is what we call a plate load machine. It's very soft on the body. And anyway, so then we show her how to do it, etc. Then we put 25 pounds on, and then she's like, oh, wow. But you can look at her and you can see she's never going to get past that 25 pounds.
Wow.
So then I ask her, well, how would you like to be doing 300? It's unfathomable.
Oh, I can imagine.
Okay,
Yeah.
but then the secret sauce is I put in my support system. I talk to her, and in 20 minutes she's doing, and it's on camera, she's doing it perfect. This person is a natural athlete. When I looked at her body, instead of being close to 60, she actually had a body in her 40s, but it was incomplete.
And you all listen to that. He said 20 minutes, and she's lifting, or you can lift, and his secret sauce, so that means you have to go see Dr. Fitness to find out about this body design system. And
20 to 50% stronger in 20 minutes.
Yeah, in 20 minutes.
Okay,
and
so
that's
watch
amazing.
this.
And I want to touch on just quickly the back pain, because we know a lot of people suffer from back pain, and you're saying no more back pain, and say what you wanted to say, and then tell me about the back pain.
He said that he had whatever it is he had in his body. I said, yeah, but you're missing all your supporting muscles in your back. You see, his back was curved like this.
Yeah.
Okay? And then he had those muscles connecting to his butt. So I said, your body's going in the opposite direction to good health. Now, if we put your body this way and we created muscles, like, when we strengthen a bridge, you won't have any back pain. But he couldn't understand it.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Once they go into pain, they just want that occurrence. Now, what's interesting is when women go, you see, when men get sick, they'll stop because we're kind of like babies. Oh, I got to, could you help me?
Right.
Women will keep on going until they get sick.
Right.
And why they wind up with doctors and things like that, and they don't listen to reason is because it's the first time they are forced to stop and somebody is paying attention to them.
Right.
It doesn't matter. I've seen women with broken legs, and they'd rather have broken legs and get the attention than not work out.
And that means a lot. Your body design system will really sounds really good.
So wait a second. So when we raise the strength of the leg, so this particular person that we come back to she's doing a chest press. You know, with the dumbbells.
Yeah.
Okay. The reason that you do chest press, it's done on an incline. We don't do something on a flat because there's 4 fears in life: rejection, abandonment, noise, and failure. When you lie a woman down, she feels out of control. One of the downfalls of Pilates. So now she's on a 45-degree angle, and it's the first time she's lifting like dumbbells, So she starts off with 5, she's balancing. And when I say to her, how would you like to be doing 25 pounds in 2 days' time? She could barely do 10. When he finished the session, she's already now at 15.
50?
15.
Oh, 15.
And she's already now going toward 20. By the third session, she is doing 25 pounds with no trainer.
Wow, that is
And it's
amazing.
on camera.
That's
So what
amazing.
happens is when women push a lot on an angle on their chest, even flat, they release a lot of emotions that are stored up in their body. So if the weight is too light, it won't do the trick.
Right.
Yep.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Sense. So we have a couple minutes
Yeah, we got a
left,
couple
and
minutes.
I want you to tell us about your books. You got a couple of books there, and how to get in touch with you.
Yeah, sure. Here it's Extreme Muscle Makeover.
There
That's
it is.
one book. And that's by myself, Stephen Hersey, and I got to include Batista Grimaud because she's the wings below my feet.
I like that one.
And then the other one is How to Lose Weight to Look Good. And
There you
again,
go.
it's by myself, Stephen Hersey, and Batista Grimaud. And how you get in touch with me is you go to drfitnessusa.com. That's the short version, drfitnessusa.com. I suggest you look at a couple of my radio shows that will relax you. I know you listen to meditative states, but if you listen to the conversations in these radio shows, you'll start to take more power over who you are. And the simplest method would be, where's that book there?
And Dr. Fitness has already told his age, 68, and look at his body and his physique and everything.
I
That's
suggest
amazing.
every woman should read Feminine Body Design by Batista Grimaud. She put her life into this book.
Empowering fitness for pain-free life.
That explains everything a
Yes.
woman needs to know to make an intelligent decision.
And it's a great book. I
Yes.
went to one of her book signings in Beverly Hills, and I got the book from Batista. I've read the book. It's a great book. She was on the show at the beginning of the month. Like I said, we kicked off the show on a healthy note, empowering fitness for a pain-free life with Batista. And her interview, our conversation with her is on our YouTube channel. Again, Aim to Purpose. So let's give us a final thought, and we have to wrap it up.
Well, in closing, if they mention that they're heard Dr. Fitness USA on the Louise Hicks show, they can call 424-245-6560.
Wow.
And they can have 15 to 20 minutes of my time.
There you go.
They have the option, they can even email me their fitness routine, and I'll give them an idea if they're going to make it. Probably not.
You hear that? Dial that number.
Say that number one more time.
424-245-6560, and you do have to leave a message. We have run a really busy office, but perhaps if you're polite about it, I will answer you myself personally.
And mention that you saw Dr. Fitness USA on the Aim to
Aim
Purpose,
to
the radio
Purpose,
show
yes.
with your host here, yours truly, Louise Hicks, and our co-host,
That's
Kennedy
right.
Wesley Mason.
And we want to definitely thank Dr. Fitness USA, Stephen Hersey, for being our guest, giving us all this wonderful information on strength building and building a better nervous system, building a better body.
Absolutely.
Body design.
The international body
Yes.
designer, author, and empowerment speaker with his body design system.
Yep.
So thank you again, Dr. Fitness
Thank
USA,
you.
for all that valuable information. And with that being said, always remember, your power lies within you. Let it loose until next week.